If you could only own and have one effect, what would it be? I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys would choose OTT, and EQ, distortion, but I'd personally choose delay. Now think about this. When have you made a track without any single instance of a delay plugin in your track? Not a delay for your drums, for your synths, for your basses, for your vocal. Think about it. So if I only had one plugin, I'd definitely choose delay. And if I could only choose one plugin, I'd choose the emulation by Arturia, the RE-201. So the 201 emulation is what the name says, is an emulation of the classic 201 RE tape delay made by Roland in 1974, recreated for you to use in any DAW by Arturia. And it's a perfect recreation of this delay. And what is the Roland 201? So the Roland 201, or better known as the Space Echo, is a analog tape delay. And how it works is that you have a tape that goes around several playheads, and this would create a tape delay effect. So the distance that it took from recording into the tape into playing again into the playhead would create the effect. So you could adjust and play around with the speed of the tape to get different tape sounds, and you have the nice little warm classic imperfect sound of the tape from this tape delay. And it also had a spring reverb chamber, so it would have a spring that would play the sound through the spring. It would create a spring reverb effect, which is also present in the tape delay. And the special part about this tape delay is that you have 3 playheads that create different styles of delay, which is perfectly recreated here, which is our mode selector. As you can see, we have our first repeat on the playhead number 1, 2, and 3. And then we have 2 and 3, which are playing, which creates a longer, different style of effect here. Again, we have the 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3, and all of the 3 playheads. And this creates a really unique delay pattern that isn't just a repeat of a exact BPM. It creates sort of a different timing in the delay, which sounds really amazing. And what makes this delay special, and why they would choose this delay over any other tape emulating delay or any other delay whatsoever? And I've used a bunch of other delays. I've used Echo Boy, I've used the native FL Studio Echo, I've used the native FL Studio delay plugin, I've used Waves H delay plugin, which also has some tape emulation. I've used the Valhalla delay with the tape module, And so the story with this delay and the reason why I'm using it is because this plugin was sponsored, I think about a year ago, when Arturia sponsored and gave me the whole complete effect bundle, and I barely used it. I barely touched and barely played with this just because I already had my Fruity delay, I already had Echo Boy, so I was like, why do I need a third tape delay, and why I would use this one? So I just sort of never tried it out. I never checked it out. I never gave Arturia the opportunity to show me why this plugin is so great. It's so awesome. Until I started connecting my analog synth and I wanted a more genuine feel to my analog hardware, and Echo Boy and the Fruity delay just wasn't giving me that special magic that analog hardware has, and it's sort of taking away the analog sound of my Minilogue away from my music production. And then I was watching some videos on Mike Dean on his music production, like one of those live streams where he's just jamming, playing around with music. And there was one thing in his studio that was really special, that was really making his music stand out, and was a hardware version of the Roland Space Echo. And I was like, is that the secret sauce to creating Mike Dean style synths? And so I remembered that I had the Arturia emulation plugin for that delay, and I tried it out with my Minilogue, and I was super surprised and super impressed with the results, because it sounded so pure, because it didn't sound pure, it didn't sound clean, it didn't sound digital. It sounded gritty, it sounded analog, and even though it's a digital effect, it's so imperfect in the way that it ruins your sound in a warm, nice way that you sort of want with analog gear. Which is the reason that this became my number one delay, because it gave it sort of like a life. It sort of gave life to my music production. It made it feel more organic. It made it feel natural. And if I can load up here a more digital sounding, so this is as flat as digital as the sound can get. So now let's add the delay here. Echo volume to 100%. And let's use just the number 2 here, and I'm gonna set it to 1/4. And what if I wanted this mono sound to have more width? Let's use the ping pong here. Let's add some reverb to the sound. And something very important to note here when using the tape delay, the reverb wasn't sounding because we need to select the reverb echo module here in the mode selector. We can add some grit here, really boost and add some drive to this. Maybe not so aggressive, but can choose if we want the original preamp sound or if we want a Arturia vintage preamp sound here on the amp selector, which makes it even more awesome for creative applications. And what if I wanted to add more imperfections to the sound? I can go here to the advanced module here and I can add these parameters here that really affect and really change up the sound to make it feel even more analog. And just like that, I created a really awesome beat, as you guys can hear. And my secret sauce for my beats to make them feel super, super, super dope. I really love this Tape Mellify plugin by Arturia because it makes it sound so vintage and it's so good at giving it that effect, especially having this low pass filter, because I'm not a huge fan of aggressive high-end. I have a bit of hearing loss, so it sort of hurts when I hear music with a loud high-end, so this plugin makes it so much better for my ears when producing sounds that sound pleasant to me. And if I wanted to have that sort of very, very, very analog and sort of spaced out effect during the song that I wanted to feel very, very old, very artistic, I can add these tone effects and drive. And that transition from just enabling and disabling the tone and drives, completely wild production here. So I want to learn and I want to see your comments on what your favorite delay plugin is and why you use that delay plugin. So leave a comment down below on your favorite delay plugin, and while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe so that I know that you guys enjoy the content in this video. Anyways, this was Soundkiller. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.